Quick announcement, I just dropped a full set of UGC items to purchase which are new with a pretty cool shinobi trend. For any R6 avatar, you can purchase my metal arm, the connectors to your character, and the matching eye patch just like my avatar. Later, I'll release some options for the right arm and other color variants, but let me know. These are also fully customizable with your avatar. The link's gonna be down below, and comment what you guys want to see next since I'm working on new stuff. What's up guys, it's Punchy, back again with another Deepwoken weekly update, and this one's packed with some pretty wild changes. You already know I'll be testing everything and breaking it down for y'all, so let's get right into it. Last week, the devs hit us with some new criticals for both of the sabers, a ridiculously strong Great MAUL rework, a fresh new outfit, and a talent upgrade that made some old picks way more viable. But that was then. Today, we have even more to explore, so let's see what's in store. As always, if you truly want that full experience about everything new, I recommend hopping in game and testing everything new for yourself. Let's get into it. One of the biggest changes this update brings is a visual revamp to character customization, and I'm all for it. So if you hop into character creation, you'll notice that everything has been reorganized for a smoother experience. Now at the top we've got background, which lets you view your aspect, race, and origin. Next to that there's name, since people have to call you something. Then we've got appearance with all the familiar customization options, followed by starting weapon, and finally the sections for stats, boons, and echoes. It's a solid improvement, cleaner, easier to navigate, and way more intuitive, which is great considering this is the first thing that players interact with. Also, barbers now have the full customization options from character creation, which is basically a lore buff to the Fade Trimmer Oath. Adding further on top of these new organizations, you should have noticed even more options for our character customization. For starters, when it comes to hair, we instantly get even more options to choose from, being allowed 6 different hairs instead of just the 4. I mean, players were already making peak in game with the previous 4 hairs, so 6 is pretty nice for builders. Besides this, when it comes to overall options for our face, we also have big changes here. You can now pick your eyebrows, eyes, and mouth separately, which allows the player to customize and pick whatever they want. It's easier to make more creative characters, and the devs, they can also add smaller additions without making them stuck or tied to one face. This is great, but it gets even better with the adjustment coming to facial markings. So aspect or racial marks are now separated from scars and other facial markings, allowing the player to combine both. You could have race markings and your scar just for even more customization, and there's no more limits. On top of this, there's even more extra facial options like smiling mouths and eyebrows for specific races that weren't available before this update. It's pretty game-changing visually, and I think it's going to be fun. Now, with all of these new capabilities, most players are likely going to go to the barber and change up their drip, but this is so crazy, and I'm excited to try it out fully. Armor customization got a bit of a shakeup this patch. The gender presentation toggle for armor variants is now gone, but don't worry, you can still switch through your look. Now, any blacksmith will give you the option to cycle through different styles for outfits that have multiple variants. This is a solid change since it means you won't need to craft the same schematic multiple times just to tweak your appearance. It's a simple talk with the blacksmith and boom, you have a new look with the same gear. Talking about outfits, we got another one to equip, and this time it's kinda clean. Introducing the new VARICOSAN FINERY, dripped out from head to toe in a clean depths tuxedo. Honestly, this might be the fanciest option in the game. With a simple black and white theme, it looks great with almost everything, and it's definitely something that we haven't seen before. And if you decide to switch its style, you can check out the other option where it's a dress instead of the tux, which is also pretty clean. This comes with a light talent, nothing too crazy, allowing the player to gain a rep by selling goods to antiquariums. Actually, this might be kinda cracked to gain rep with any faction, and I like to see it. Also, the addition of this talent actually enables antiquarians to be aligned with certain factions, meaning if they hate you, you can't talk to them, but if they like you, that's always good. It's something small but cool for world building. Starting off our balancing and bug fixes, we got a few here to analyze, so I'll be highlighting those that stood out. Let's check it out. Updating a newly added addition, Mocking Favor just got some solid buffs and quality of life improvements. If you missed it from last week, this talent, exclusive to the Jester's Garb and Trickster's Habit, grants a random debuff or buff whenever you taunt. It was an already unique mechanic, but now it's even more versatile. Now, this activates on any emote, making it more accessible in combat if you like, and it's funny. Besides this, debuff buffs also have a new sound cue for better clarity in combat, and the invisibility buff lasts longer, giving it more utility. Overall, it's a pretty great set of changes that makes this talent even more interesting to use. Up next, SAINTSWORN just got an indirect buff that raises its skill ceiling significantly. This elemental oath, which pulls from multiple different talent trees, now has even more synergy to work with. Previously, a lot of hybrid elemental talents either didn't function properly or weren't impactful in combat, and this has been adjusted and changed. Some of these talents have been fixed, giving Saintsblade users a wider arsenal of hybrid tools to experiment with, and I'm excited to see what you guys cook. If you really want to know, there's a full list in the patch notes, but the bottom line, SAINTSWORN just got even more flexible, and I'm happy to see it. Next up, Dread Whisper, a very weird mantra that kind of flew under the radar but had some broken mechanics. This was touched. So this ability was ignoring block, parry, and dodge, making it a guaranteed hit no matter what, and for a cinematic grab that was way too strong, it was annoying and it was removed. On top of that fix, players caught inside the grab now get iframes from anything, preventing teammates from piling on extra damage or other cheese methods. While it's still a solid ability, it should be much harder to spam and abuse in fights. Now, onto a weapon that definitely needed nerfs, Great Maul and its ridiculous critical. This thing was hitting like a truck, tanking through attacks and slamming enemies into the ground while also setting up free combos. This ability made fights way harder than they should have been and was just ridiculous. Thankfully, the knockdown duration got a pretty big nerf, cutting down the follow-up potential. Before, it was basically handing out extra damage for free, so yeah, this was 100% deserved. Moving on to another nerf to cooldown move stalling, a ton of mantras got changed that were problematic to make them a little bit more fair with their cooldowns. In this update, Razor Blitz, Scarlet Cannon, and Heavenly Wind finally start going on cooldown as soon as they touch the ground instead of in the air. This wasn't insanely game-breaking, but players were able to reduce their cooldowns without having to land on the floor, which caused some issues in ganks and catching players, so it's hopefully been resolved. Before we finish, I do want to talk about my thoughts on this update because a lot of players were confused and maybe disappointed about what happened yesterday. Although the changes here are something I really wanted to see and I'm happy that they're here, unfortunately the developers had some problems yesterday releasing on time. Usually our Friday updates would be dropping on Friday, but it was informed to the public that it would be happening late Saturday or early Sunday, and yeah, it's Monday. Of course, the devs weren't able to hit that timing, and it may not have even been their fault because Roblox was breaking, but I think they should have communicated better to the player base. Seriously, I don't know how I feel about this update, but I think a lot of players generally are fed up with the current game state. Please tell me your thoughts down below because I think they need feedback, and let's be realistic with the criticism. Hop in game, tell me what you think. And that's about it for today's update. Make sure you join up in game, check out Battle Royale, and run some squads with your friends. Thank you to everyone who supports the channel because it really means a lot. If you want even more content, you can join up down below. For updates or to reach out directly, hop into my Discord. And if you're interested in running with my guild in game, the Apothecary, the link is going to be down below. Finally, join my UGC group and cop the new stuff since we just dropped. Don't forget to like and subscribe since we just hit 110k subs. Have a good one. It's punching time.